Welcome back. This is not the video I had planned for today, but this is the video I will be releasing. I did run into some issues with DaVinci Resolve when it comes to trying to use not RX, Vega FE. Uh, Unfortunately, at this time, Vega FE is not playing nice with any other card, so there is no way to hook it up as the second card unless you have another Vega FE as the first card. Unfortunately, the mixing of any drivers causes a crash and does not allow it to run correctly. So, as for now, I'm a little behind on doing that testing because it took me a while to get this figured out. I will continue to try to figure out new and interesting ways to get that to work, and I also have another Vega FE coming to me for this specific test. So, at this point in time, can I recommend in DaVinci Resolve the use of Vega FE? No. You need two of them to make one useful. And $2,000 is way too much money to spend to make one card useful. So unfortunately, I don't have any numbers for you, but I do have an answer. The answer is no. I would not recommend it. Now, as far as your other video editing programs, yes, it works. H.264, 265, they both work on a hardware level. Now, even that being said, OBS Studio, if you do use that, H.265 encoding crashes. It's not working correctly with the driver. So, at this point in time, yeah, nothing got better for Vega FE. We are still running on these same drivers that came out on release day, and AMD has basically told us they're not going to fix it. They are waiting for Vega, or RX Vega, to come out before we will get a driver's update. And I can't blame them because that's going to tip their hat. They are going to be releasing the new drivers for RX Vega, and that driver is going to also work with Vega FE under the game mode. Or at least most of that driver will be working under the gaming mode, supposedly. And they don't want to go ahead and let us know how much of a change that is going to be and how much of a difference that is going to be. So, at this point in time, yeah, we're pretty much screwed. We just got to wait around and see if something changes. Hopefully it will. Hopefully we'll get some information soon. But until that happens, we are where we are. Okay, as to the leak that came out. Yes, we do have some pricing information for RX Vega. It looks like it's going to run anywhere between $400 and about $700. Good news is there are multiple cards within those levels. $400 seems to be about the cheap one. It's, and I say cheap, that's relative. $400 is going to be the 56 unit, and that one looks to be like it's going up against the 1070. At least it's priced to go against the 1070 Founders Edition. It looks like the 64 unit cards start off with air-cooled around the $500 mark. That being said, they go all the way up to about $700. It looks like for $500 to $600, you can get yourself an air-cooled card. For $600 to $700, you can get yourself a liquid card. Whether you want the special edition or just the regular ones. Now, I really hate to say this, but I kind of like the look of the regular ones over the special edition. How many computers are you going to be able to use that special edition in and have it look good? And also, really, this is a business channel. Why are you worried about what the inside of your computer looks like? Yes, certain things are not aesthetics, like wire placement, like cross flow for the air. You don't want to block flow, but for the most part, if you are using your computer for work, you are not staring at the inside of it. I say that as I look right over and there's a giant window in my case, and I watch everything in my case all the time while I'm doing videos or you're encoding something or doing other work. But hey, you know, we do what we do. Well, the good news is it looks like you're going to be able to pick up approximately 2 RX Vegas for the price of 1 Vega FE. That's great news. That makes sense. Going back to the DaVinci Resolve thing, if I can get 2 high-end RX Vegas and run them, and they cost the same as 1 Vega FE, all of a sudden we're more in the price to brain category where it makes sense. I can't see spending that kind of money on a card that's not going to do anything. And by that, I mean the first card in that series, when you use the 2 cards with DaVinci Resolve, does almost nothing. As far as your renders, anything else goes, it doesn't do anything. And I can't see spending $1,000 on something to not do anything. Okay, so other than that, like I said before, this is not the video that I had planned on bringing out today, but it does look like it was spotted over on Newegg, the pricing for all these cards. And I am using an article from WCCF Tech as the backdrop for this video because it pretty much shows you everything you need to know. From pricing to performance, well, kind of, actual numbers. It does look like they were able to fix some of the clock boost issues with the RX Vega line that they have not gotten around to fixing on the Vega FE. I think that's going to be in the driver updates that will be coming on right around the time of RX Vega launch that they don't want to give to us because it's, like I said, going to tip the hat and show the performance of Vega and allow NVIDIA reaction time. That's the worst thing you can do in business is give your competition reaction time. Oh, I've got this great idea. Let me go ahead and throw it out there so everybody can hear about it. But we're not going to do it for 2 months. You know, we're not going to touch this idea for 2 months. And then we're going to get around to it. That's just telling your competition, this is how you beat me. And from a business point of view, that is the dumbest thing you could ever do is give your competition a roadmap, a real roadmap on how to beat you. Now, as I said before, these new cards, they all seem to be priced right with the counterparts from NVIDIA. Well, NVIDIA could lower prices. Realistically, they could lower prices, and that would be great for NVIDIA because they would have a price to performance lead against this Vega. Or they could possibly have one. We don't know. We don't actually have the cards in our hands. Have no idea what the price to performance is for any of these cards. But here's the thing on that. NVIDIA's been pretty damn greedy over the last few years. Over the last several years. And I don't see anything changing as far as that goes. NVIDIA is going to stay greedy. Why? Because they can. Right now, the mind share, not actual share, but the mind share for NVIDIA in the graphics market, as far as consumers goes, is about 90%. They own 90% of the mind share. Well, what's so important about mind share? It determines how much of something you're going to sell. And it determines how much another company has to fight to get you to buy their product. Changing that mind share is incredibly difficult. It's not something that's going to happen overnight. It's not something that can happen overnight. In fact, it is something that takes years. Now, if RX Vega turns out to be good, I believe the mind share will turn. That's going right towards where the graphics market needs to go, especially for business users. Because there are a lot of programs that do work better on NVIDIA cards. I mean, face it, there are programs that are completely built on CUDA. But there are a lot of programs that work better on AMD cards. And a lot of those happen to have, you know, OpenGL, OpenCL, or something along those lines that they use. And a lot of that is the extra headroom that AMD has been putting in their cards for years that we have known and that has become known to be there. Doesn't mean better gaming performance, but does mean better workflow performance. Now, that being said, you know, it's all conjecture. There's nothing I can do to say one way or the other how anything's going to be happening as far as AMD, NVIDIA, or anyone else in the future. All I can say is we're going to get official launch information today. It's going to happen here in probably another, 2 hours, 3 hours. And we're going to have some launch information on RX Vega, the gaming cards. Now, I'm fully going to recommend that everybody goes ahead and watches AMD's press conference about this when they finally release it on YouTube. I have been told that this will not be a live streamed event, so you're going to have to wait for that to release on YouTube, which means probably within an hour of it being over, or possibly tomorrow, depending on if they decide that they need to change something. But other than that, what I can say honestly is it's becoming very interesting, and I am hoping to soon see some differences coming out of both Team Red, Team Green, Team Blue, all of the teams. The hardware market is starting to uptick, and we're starting to get actual new technologies, or companies finally, catching up on technologies across the whole market. It's great for consumers. It's great for business. I mean, this is something that's needed to happen for about the last 10 years, and it's just really not been there. Hopefully, this will continue. I've heard nothing but good out of Team Blue and Team Red as far as CPUs go, other than I hope Intel. Yeah, I hope Intel can get this heat issue out of the way with their high-end desktop series, because that is going to cause some major problems. And if you want to talk about right now a space heater, you are looking at an Intel HEDT system. That is a space heater. Those processors are easily going above 200 watts, barely overclocked, and that's just the ones that have been released. What is that? The 7900X is having, or 7920X, I believe. Well, yeah, they're having issues with those. Watch some of the harder overclock videos, and you'll understand why. Or excuse me if I get his name wrong, DeBauer. Yeah, he'll kind of explain some VRM issues and some temperature issues and heat issues on those. Jace 2 Cents has had some information on that. A bunch of good YouTubers have had information on that. But yeah, stay away from that platform unless you need a heater at the moment, and wait to see what Red Team has to go as far as their HEDT system, which is Threadripper. If that's an issue for you, if you live in a hot climate or a hot zone and you do not have the $2,000 to spend on custom water cooling, and trust me, it doesn't matter how cheap the system is, the prices just start going up. Because you'll always want something a little different, or want to change this thing, and next thing you know, you're spending $25 on a new fitting. Yes, they go up that high. Or you'll spend, another $100 on tubing because you wanted some fancy tubing. Or you decide you wanted a different water block, or you decided this, or you decided that. Yeah, custom water cooling is something that gets expensive quick. You cannot do it realistically for less than about $400, and even then, that's cutting it cheap. So, to cap this video off, basically, what we know of today, first off, AMD drivers still aren't working on Vega FE. We know that. And I will continue to try to make that video just as soon as I have another graphics card where I can plug it in and have both of them work and the computer not crash. Other than that, what we know is RX Vega, finally a real thing. We have information. There is real information, and it came from a reliable source. Whether or not it's completely true, I don't know. But I do kind of trust Newegg. They have not steered me wrong so far, and this information was got from Newegg through somebody's screw up over there, allowing this information to kind of go public. I imagine somebody is either getting written up or getting fired as we speak, or has already been fired over this information. Other than that, we do know RX Vega is going to be coming in probably between the $400, $700 mark, depending on where you want to spend money. That's great news, because that means you should be able to pick up two standard air-cooled, mid-range, high-end, low-range RX Vega 64s. It looks like, you can come in for $1,000 for two of them. And I will guarantee at this point in time, the two of those are probably going to boost better on a regular basis than this Vega FE does. Okay, well, I've rambled on for long enough. I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. But if you like this video or like what I'm doing on this channel, go ahead and give it a thumbs up and go ahead and subscribe. I really do need the subscribers to make this channel keep going. Well, if you don't like it, go ahead and give it a thumbs down. You know what to do. You can just click that little red X up in the corner and not have to see me or hear me again. All right, so thank you very much for watching, and I'll have another video up soon.